Okay, so it's probably about 3 hours since I filmed the last clip, and I went ahead and took off most of the metal in the back, the lower back here, pulled the gas tank. There was about 2 gallons of gas in there, so I went ahead and drained all the gas out, put a little bit of gas back in the tank, sloshed it around, drained it out. So I'm feeling pretty good about the gas that's in the tank now. And then when I refilled it, I used this stuff here, which is called Startron Enzyme Fuel Treatment. You're supposed to mix 1 fluid ounce for every 3 gallons for the initial dose, and 1 ounce for every 6 gallons after that. So I had a 5-gallon can. I put 2 ounces in, and I also used premium gasoline, because as far as I know, the premium gasoline usually has less whatever they're mixing in, the corn or the wheat or whatever. So I try to just use the 91 or 93, whatever the top grade is, when I'm buying fuel for the equipment. And Briggs & Stratton, just so you know, Startron Enzyme, I saw that the first time like 4 or 5 years ago. That's what they have. There's another one out there called Stabil, which I don't know if Briggs markets it or Stabil's its own entity, but I've used Stabil as well, and you know, that's done perfectly fine for me as well. But I'll put a link to Startron and Stabil in the description if you want to go check them out. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab the key, I'm going to crank this guy. It's probably going to take it, you know, I'll probably crank it for 20-30 seconds, stop, let it cool off a little bit, crank it again. There is no fuel. From the fuel tank to the carb, there's no fuel. So hopefully we will get the fuel to the carb, and she'll run rough for, you know, maybe 30 seconds, a minute, and then run normally. Again, the last time I tried to start this was maybe a month or 2 ago, and I would put the ether, what is it called, starting fluid in there, and it would start up, but it wouldn't keep running. So the only problem we may encounter is when I was working, the battery is actually stored under here. My battery's from 2011, so depending on the quality of the battery, we may run out of juice before this guy starts. But I opened all the windows and doors. I'm going to put the fans on, and we'll just crank it for a while, you know, 20-30 seconds tops, let the starter cool down, and see if we can get her to run. I think this is almost getting comedic. I have not used this machine once this year on a job, and I just spent an entire day working on it because I'm using it so little. And as you see, the battery is installed in May of 11, so it's definitely due. I just got junk all over me from the copper anti-seize. I'm gonna put a fresh pair of gloves on so it'll make a mess of everything. You know, as I do this, I just think about whenever I take my truck or a piece of equipment to a mechanic, it always seems like they charge a lot of money. But you know, I'm assuming stuff like this happens all the time too. You know, you gotta find the right part. There's always more, you know, when you start fixing something, there's always more to the story. Something breaks, there's a stuck bolt. The older I get, the more awkward everything seems to be, the places things are. You gotta be pretty limber to be doing this stuff. Okay, yellow means it's charging, so we'll give it an hour or so and come back and give it a try. Okay guys, I charged this all night, so it's been on for over 12 hours. So let's crank her for a little while and see if she starts. The good news is she started, but she still definitely sounds kind of funky. Hopefully that'll work out. Okay, so we definitely got the machine running, but I think it's still a little bit off, and I don't know if it's off because it's still got some gunk to clean out of there, or if it's off because, you know, in the course of removing it, I bent one of the linkages and the throttle's not quite where it needs to be. But right now I've got it full idle and I'm at, 1100 RPM, and if I throttle it up, about 3,100 RPM, but I'll be honest, it just sounds different to me. I don't know. There's usually some rattle in this machine because of the lifters. And I don't think the lifter sound is there. So maybe that's what sounds different, but I think I'll definitely just let it run for a while so it can kind of clean itself out. After I run this for a while, what I'll do is see if I can find online or in the manual how to set the governor for the the highest point. Or maybe I'll just take it to my dealer and see if they can set it for me. Hopefully the carburetor is back together the way it needs to be. It just has to be, tweaked. Somehow the linkages need to be tweaked. Oh, you see that? It's almost like it cleaned out some junk and it jumped up a little bit. I gotta wonder if as time goes by, it'll just clean itself out and then it'll be alright. Okay guys, so it's about an hour since I filmed the last clip, and I've just left it running in the yard. I ran it on full throttle for a while, then I'd back off a bit, but it's been probably an hour, give or take. Right now my idle is at, well, it's 1050, 1040, give or take, which is a bit low. The manufacturer says the idle should be around 1200 for this machine. The only adjustment that I'm supposed to make on this machine is the low idle screw, so I could move that up a little bit, but I'm not really sure if that would make a difference in the high, the throttle. When I throttle, it's coming out to be around 34, 50, give or take. About 34.50, but if I move the machine, So, I was noticing if I move the machine quickly, the engine kind of dies or loses RPMs. It'll fall to like 2,900, give or take. I'm going to turn this off. I don't know if it's talking loud or breathing in the enzyme fuel treatment, but I feel like I want to cough. So when I push it, I'm losing like 400 or 500 RPMs. But I mean, there are, hydraulic drives on this thing. So I think that if you push them hard, that's going to take a lot of the power away. And I'm pretty sure I remember with this machine, I try not to move too quickly. But I definitely feel like the more it runs, the better it's been running. So I think worst case, what I'll do is I'll increase the low idle, maybe raise it up 50 or 75. And if increasing the low idle makes the throttle increase as well, I'll be over 5,500 RPM, which I'm pretty sure is where it was. So part of me wants to take it to the dealer and have them adjust the governor or whatever, but the other part of me says, give it a little time and see how the machine runs, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But, we definitely, I swear the machine did not start before we took it apart. I took it apart, cleaned the carb, and it definitely starts. So I feel like this one was a victory, and whether I have to take it to the dealer or not down the road, I don't know, but, at least now I can get it on my trailer and get it to the dealer. And I really, I really feel like I'm not going to have to take it to the dealer. I think it's just a matter of time. The only other thing I may do is get some kind of a liquid carb cleaner and dump it down there just to clean out any other gook in there. But we are going to end the longest video ever. And thank you guys for watching. And let me just, as we go here, I'll start the machine, and we'll fade out with the machine running. I mean, come on. That's a pretty good start, right? That's not a dirty carburetor.